again because I remembered something that I forgot. So, um, Rings of Power episode 1 and 2, right? So I'm gonna get into my theories about the show. If you guys haven't seen this, massive fucking spoiler warnings. That's the kind of thing I forgot there, and that's not some. I'm not. I'm too lazy to edit it in. Um, so yeah, it's just gonna be. We're gonna do that, right? Okay. So here's the thing. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. What I know about Tolkien's lore so far, right? I am actually interested to see where they go. They did this right. They did. So take note, shows that kind of fucked it all up. Alter Carbon season 2. Um, yeah, they fucked Alter Carbon season two's up, all up. As a matter of fact, there are some ways that you do a show, and some ways you don't. Carbon season 2 is one of them. Much to my chagrin, because I really, really liked Alter Carbon. However, here's the thing. So I'm gonna run down a brief bit of what, just to get you guys kind of, I guess, caught up. So the Silmarillion, pretty much details how the world of Middle Earth came to be. You know, the birds and the bees of planet building, pretty much. And it depicts the war of Wrath, as it's called, with the elves and Morgoth and all that shit. It doesn't end. Spoiler alert: it doesn't end well for either fucking party, but they're there. So here's the thing: if you are an aficionado of Tolkien, you may not like this. I've already seen a couple people who are like, I hate this. This is horrible. I didn't enjoy it. So, are there boring parts? Yeah, they're kind of. Sometimes it can get kind of boring. Sometimes it can get kind of outlandish. We'll get to that part. Otherwise, no, it's actually pretty good. It's from what I remember of the story, it fits fairly well. Do I like the girl they chose for Galadriel? Yeah, sometimes she looks like Galadriel, other times she doesn't. Elrond, no, not so much. Gil-galad, it's hit or miss. I mean, I can kind of see it. But Celebrimbor, no. He falls right in there. He looks like Elrond's dad. And let me do a quick Google search history here. I don't think Celebrimbor was Elrond's dad. Elrond, Lord of the Rings. Let's see. Let's see. Elrond. Who's his dad? Who him daddy? Son of, yeah, there we go. Yeah. Celebrimbor. Grandson of Baron and Luthien. Okay, cool. So here's the thing. I always, and what, okay, maybe someone can answer this, and if you guys are watching the stream, we're kind of getting repetitive here, but what is with the short-haired elves? I don't mind. I do not mind short hair where it needs to be. There's one elf in particular that I can think of that probably should have short hair. And it fits him. I get it. I understand completely. However, all the other elves, I don't get why they have. Is it just like the fashion trend of the second age? Oh, we're gonna cut our hair short. Oh no, I had always assumed they had long hair, and a lot of them would be blonde, not brunettes or redhead or something like that. Um, yeah, I really think that could, in that aspect, it could be better. Um, However, this is probably going to be a shorter video and stream. As there's a range day, guys. I'm just going to be 100% honest. You guys are going to be getting a range day. So yeah, I got to get my sleep. I'm going to sight in Ziva now that I know what I'm doing. Make sure she's accurate and go dirty her up real good. So I'm going to keep this kind of not necessarily brief, and I'm going to hit some of the points that we all need to know. So first off, we begin with young Galadriel, a kid Galadriel. I don't know why that struck me as weird when I watched it, but I mean, everybody has to be a kid at some point, even the elves. I always assumed when they just awoke, they were all fully grown adults, not kids. But yeah, that's kind of what I thought. And I don't think she was like one of the original elves that woke up. I think she was actually born. She was done the dirty way. So, fast forward, they leave Valinor, which is heaven for all intents and purposes. Think of it in heaven, as in heaven terms, and you'll be spot on. To go fight the War of Wrath, and defeat Morgoth, where Finrod, her brother, dies via Sauron. I had forgotten that point. I'm glad they did that because so far they're keeping with the lore, and I am huge about it. If you're gonna do anything Lord of the Rings, however, and I will make an amendment to this in 1 second. If you're gonna do anything Lord of the Rings, what I need you to do is be accurate to the lore. There is one exception, and it is done for the sake of gameplay, and I am okay with that. Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor. Not really all that lore accurate, but is it a fun game? Fuck yes, it is. So I'll give it a pass. If it's fun, I'll give it more leeway. So we're on to now. Galadriel's a full-grown woman or elf, whatever, elf maiden, whatever you want to call her, and she's up in the northern part of the world, which kind of struck me odd because if Sauron had escaped the War of Wrath, which he did, yeah, he did very well, yes. Otherwise, there would not have been a war. And this leads into one of my theories that my brother brought to, that I'm really glad he did. And I will explain this in a minute. So here's the thing. So she's up in the north, and she's looking at these northern orc strongholds, if you will. Strongholds of evil. Evil was cold, whatever, it's the frozen north. I was under the impression that land sank into the sea at the end of the First War. I may be wrong, but that's what I thought. However, Angmar is soon to rise. Now, for those of you uninitiated, and I will explain for you guys, Angmar is a group of Numenorians, which is a race of man who lives longer than most, that fell to the dark, let's just say the dark side, for instance, right? So, yeah, so that kingdom will rise, and I have a feeling it's going to rise in this series, and we'll get to see the Witch King of Angmar as a man doing what he did best, which was destroy Arnor. That was his one task, and he fucking did it with flying colors. Downright to where the last king of Arnor pretty much escaped barely. So yeah, he did his job well. And we'll probably see the construction of Minas Tirith, or known to the Arnorians, Minas Arnor, which kind of like it. And then I don't think we'll see the fall of Minas Ithil or Minas Morgul, which why would we? It's in the it's in the Second Age. It's in the war. It's with the first War of Sauron. So here's what I think. And you guys feel free to disagree with me or agree with me in the comment section down below. I definitely want to hear what you guys think. I think this show is going to build up to the first war with Sauron. It's going to show that war and the last alliance of men and elves and da-da-da-da-da. It'd be kind of cool if they kind of like spliced a little bit of the battle in between. That's where I think this is going. Because it's in the Second Age, you're going to have to... That's the climactic event. Or it's going to cut out right after they make the Rings of Power and just... we're fucked. I have wanted a series that will go back and explain the prequels. What happens before the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbits, right? So there's so many tales that you could do in the First Age, and they kind of touched on some. They didn't in a lot of things, which kind of made me sad. But I think my brother's right in the fact that they just gave you the cliff notes of what happened in the First Age War. They missed in Calagon the Black, the first ever dragon. That was a big one that they missed. But if it's like the Cliff Note version, I can kind of see where they just like sped shit along and was like, here, this is what you need to know. I can get that. And I can put my nerdness away for like 5 minutes and yeah, I can do that. So I feel like the I don't know, obviously I don't know everything about Lord of the Rings. but I feel like the way they're kind of portraying Elrond is a little weird. Like there's some moments where you're like, that's Elrond. And other times it's like, isn't that Elrond? What the fuck? So yeah, I do like some of the things that they're going with, and some things I could be like, it could be done better, but it's the first episode. We'll see how it goes. Um, Much like in Obi-Wan, I was like, they could do some things better, but I want to see where it goes, and it blew all expectations out of the water. I really enjoyed that series, but I'm jumping around a little bit, but you know, Galadriel's up in the frozen tundras, and they meet a snow troll. Cool. Always wanted to see one of those. I'm fucking happy as static. However, the elves that are with her get battered around like a bunch of newborn pups on the first fucking day. Homie, I don't know if you guys know this. You're elves. You're pointies. Tall, fair, great warriors, yeah? You should have dispatched that troll like a man flicks an act. Just bing, done. Done dealia. Not, you know, 3 or 4 of you get smashed around and the main character does a little flip and it's dead. That's one of my gripes, that sometimes the elves feel a little underpowered. Like, you fucking elves, for God's sake. You stood against the prime evil, for all intents and purposes, Lucifer. You stood against that motherfucker and whooped his ass. With the help of the gods, but hey, you know. Nah. You fucking whooped his ass. So, y'all are a little bit better than that. However, whatever. Let's get into the armor design. Does it look practical? I don't fucking know. I'm not an armor smith. I'm a gunsmith in training. I don't know. Can't tell you that. I can tell you how your AR-15 or AK-47 fucking works. You disassemble it and reassemble it now. I can do a lot of things, but that ain't it, Chief. But it doesn't, to me, it doesn't feel elven. But it is the beginning of the second age. They would still be using first age armor. At the end of the first age, you get, let's see if I can get this. Alliance. See, ooh, nope. I want images, please. Okay, so at the end of, you get like, at the end of the second age, you get, hey now, what the hell? You get armor like that. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but you get armor like this, you know, really cool stuff. So, that's why I kind of think we're gearing towards that. However, Galadriel herself, she's awarded by Gil-galad the right to return home, which is Valinor. Do I agree with that? I don't remember how that happened in the books. It's been a long time since I've read the Silmarillion. I don't think that's how it went. Or she may have, and I feel like the gods of Middle-earth were like, no, you go back, bitch. So feel free to correct that in the comments. But again, I skipped ahead. So they found Sauron's trident, right? I'm going to call it a trident because that's the only real word I know how to explain it. It's a trident. Which I kind of like. It's interesting. It's mysterious. So they find that. She brings it back to Elrond and, yeah, grants her an audience. And, well, now she's got the award to go home. And that, you know, she's sailing, and then she's like, fuck that, I'm hopping off the boat, we're going there. So that's where we kind of are with Galadriel. She's adrift at sea and she's trying to get back. So I know I skipped into episode 2 territory there, but I just want to get that out of the way. So we meet, I don't remember his name. Hold on, let me find it real quick. The Black Elf, which I really kind of like because his character is actually kind of cool. No one fucking hate on me. I forget his name. Powell. Rings of Powell. Okay. What's your name? Arondir. I kind of like that. I kind of like, I think he's kind of cool. Okay, so let me see. Let me see if I can pull it up here. See where you guys can see. Right. So this is on the actual Amazon website. I'm gonna like zhuzh this up. We're gonna go right there. So I got a text message. Okay. So that's a Rondir, right? Oh shit. That's Elrond. I don't. Doesn't look like Elrond to me. That's Celebrimbor. Okay, so you kind of see where I'm coming with all the short hair, and then you've got Gil-galad who has long hair. So are you trying to tell me that all the like the High Kings have and all the royalty have long hair? I don't think so, because all the elves in the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit have long hair. Oh. Okay, so we'll go there. So we got Browin, Southlanders. So the Southlanders, I fucking knew it. The Southlanders are the men of Harad, right? This becomes a thing because, okay, I think the kid is a, well, a love child of her and this guy. Getting a little hanky panky in the Southlands, huh? Man's been stationed there 79 years, and well, he may have got a little with her. And then you got the Harfoots, which are the early ancestors to the Hobbits, which I don't necessarily. It's weird. I don't care, and I kind of do that they're like really dirty and like they've got mud and twigs and shit in their hair. It bothers me, but it doesn't, if that makes sense. So you got Prince Durin the Fourth, which Ivy is the fourth, and you got his wife, Disa, or whatever the hell you want to call it. So, yeah, I think it's so far it's good. I like the armor design. I like the swords. It makes sense in a way because we didn't know. We don't know. Sorry, I have a text message. So we meet Arondir and his maybe not maybe baby mama, and he's patrolling the Southlands, which is very lush and green. Which, if I remember right, Harad becomes a desert in the later years of the War of the Ring, or at least when the War of the Ring took place in the Third Age and whatnot. So I'm thinking something happens in between there. I don't remember what. It's been so long since I've read the Silmarillion and any of the books that take place in the Second Age. It's been a long time. However, the men of the South are pissed off at the elves. There's like a lot of elf hatred going on, and I don't get it. So, a little backstory: the men of the South, the soldiers of Rune, and the Haradrim, for all intents and purposes, betrayed the elves and fought on the side of Morgoth. And the elves now patrol their land because, can't have that. There's a lot of elf hatred for that. Am I saying it's right? I think the elves are in the right because they won Victor's right history. But they call them pointies a lot, and it's almost said with such an uncomfortable air. You fucking pointies, and it's like, Jesus, bud. So, do I like Arondir's armor? Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting. It kind of gives me the don't fuck with me vibe. So Galadriel is now adrift at sea, and Arondir is with his maybe baby mama. So that's kind of where we leave off with episode 1, and episode 2 kicks off, and Elrond goes to Khazad-dûm, which is, if anybody has seen the at least the Fellowship of the Ring, you would know about 100 or like 1,000 years later, it becomes this desolate pit. Well, that's the yes and no. So I like the depiction of Khazad-dûm. I kind of like that. Actually, I really like that. I like the depiction of the dwarves. I would like to see the Númenóreans and the men. Well, I guess Gondor isn't really formed yet because Númenor hasn't fallen. song. Get to that. So, another key note, and I'm bouncing around a lot, so please, if I am missing something, I will talk about it in the comment section because there's a lot of stuff that's bouncing around in my head. Oh no, I moved my, there we go. Bouncing around in my head. So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. This show is very much lore accurate to what I remember. There are a couple things like Galadriel beating the piss out of the ocean and like swimming for hours or days or whatever. I don't necessarily agree. I don't think she could, but hey, she may not. I mean, maybe she's she-woman. Who fucking knows? Maybe she's like the best swimmer ever. I don't think that could be possible. Now we come to the biggest one that I think, and the biggest question I have. Who the fuck is the guy who fell from the star? Now, I have my own theory. My brother has his theory, and my dad has his theory. So we're kind of a house divided. I think it's one of the blue wizards. Polando or Palandir, one of the two. I don't remember if I got the names correctly. My brother thinks it's either Gandalf or Sauron. My dad thinks it's Gandalf. Or Sauron in his fair form, Anatar. Which I don't think it's Anatar because he would have killed everything. And I think we see Anatar in a later trailer. And I'll pull it up just to show you. Of power. Let me see if I can find Anatar, or who I think is Anatar. A lot of people have hated this. I really like it. I am so tired of seeing fan bases shit on stuff that is good. Just because it's not 100% the way I looked at it. Man, motherfucker, calm down, bro. That ain't it, Chief. How do I spell Anatar? Anatar, there we go. There we go. So, this motherfucker, I'm gonna say, oh, come on, World of Warcraft. Stay in your lane, bitch. We're having a conversation about Lord of the Rings, not you. Okay, this hoe. I know you guys can't see, but I'm gonna show you. This hoe. I think that's Anatar. Although I don't like the short hair. What is with this show and short hair? You know, men back in the day were shown to have, like, they had long, very long hair. So I want a lot more people to watch it. Because at the end of the day, I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys not? Or do you guys not? I like this show. This show is going to be good. And I have a feeling it's going to get better. Because at the end, the cliffhanger, it's with Durin or Prince Durin and King Durin. I know, crazy, right? And there's something in the box. All right, they're kind of hesitant to help Lord Celebrimbor build his tower so he can make the Rings of Power, which is not something I don't think he has in mind yet. But he wants to build this tower, which is going to be a forge, right? Obviously, they're in Eregion. It's like huge, right? So there's a couple things it could be, and I'll list one off that I don't think it is at any shape or form. It could be. I don't think it could be a Silmaril. For one reason and one reason only. At the beginning, or at the end of the War of Wrath, I think all the Silmarils were destroyed. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody who's a lore aficionado. Two, here's what I personally think it is. I think it's Mithril, which is what Khazad-dûm was known for. And I think they had just found it, and it was going to change everything. I don't think it was a Silmaril. I think it was Mithril. Or it could be something completely different. Like a Heart of the Mountain or something like that. However, I don't think so. So take note, people who want to do like a cliffhanger, right? That's a cliffhanger. I'm definitely interested to see how, I mean, they've depicted the orcs so far as like these brutal, just maniacal thing, not like these like fucking cannon fodder laugh alongs that they've been so far, which I like. They're brutal. They're they're especially the orcs of Morgoth. They're not dumb. A lot of them were corrupted elves until they had to multiply them by the thousands. So I am interested to see where the series goes, and I want you guys to make your decision on it, and we can do a full episode review once my lovely partner watches it, and I'll rewatch it. But it's just a quick overview of what I think and what I like about the show and what I don't like so far. But I definitely want to hear about what you guys say in the comments. Until then, guys, I will see you in the next one. Peace.